My name's Erin Mara. I own Bloom Find Properties LLC, which is linked to Real Broker LLC as our brokerage. I provide real estate services to home buyers, home sellers, investors, occasionally landlords as well. Some of my clients own multiple properties and rent them out, so I run those listings as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'd like to know a backstory on your journey with your business and how it all came to be and how it got started.
Sure, yeah. So I came to real estate in 2016. Starting a new chapter, I had prior to that owned a design store in Capitol Hill in DC. Excuse me, we sold furniture, lighting, local artists, very design driven boutique, and also provided interior design services there. And so I had owned that store and then opened a second one between like 2005, 2015.
Yeah.
And brick and mortar retail is hard. I don't know if you've ever been in it, but especially with online retail really coming on strong during that decade, especially. So I just got to a point where I was ready to turn the page on that, start
Okay.
something new. And so the transition into real estate seemed like an interesting one to me. I was already working with clients in their homes, helping them
Yes.
redesign things, which often leads to improving the value of the home when you're doing it. So it seemed like a natural transition
Yeah,
into representing home sellers, home buyers.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that gave you, I guess, experience or a little bit of experience or knowledge when transitioning into the real estate aspect of it, having your brick and mortar?
Um, I said again, sorry.
Do you feel that working at your brick and mortar shop
Yeah.
helped or gave you any experience when you were transitioning into your real estate position, like right with your LLC?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, real estate is, every agent is kind of running their own small business, right? So, which, that you don't, when you're learning, the trade of real estate, you don't learn that aspect. So having already owned a business certainly helped me with that. Retail and interior design services are very client focused. This is service that you're providing. Um, the same in real estate.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of similarities. Definitely, it was a kind of an easy transition for the most part. Different marketing, that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
so not all the same.
Gotcha. But in
Yeah.
some aspects. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how many people do you currently have on your team?
So I have got 3 people on my team.
Okay.
I've got a transaction coordinator who's like mid contract to close support. So she's Nicole. She's on the team. I've got Cynthia Bannels, who's an architect, who's on the team.
Okay.
Who does not have her real estate license yet, but she's
Yet.
planning to get that.
Yeah.
But she does a lot of work in DC proper, doing upgrading, renovating homes, often flipping or transitioning, a property into multiple units for rentals, things
Yeah.
like that.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
And then Nicole Kasalika is an agent. She's actually just recently gave birth. She's on break right now,
Oh,
but she's on the team
congratulations
too.
to her. Yeah. I love that. Wait, so
Yeah.
do you have two Nicoles? The first one.
Nicole TC and Nicole.
Okay, I was
Agent.
like, okay, you've got. I thought I heard that the first time. I was like, am I hearing stuff? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Two
yeah.
Nicoles on board. We love that for you.
Yeah. Good name, popular name apparently.
Yeah, apparently I have a cousin named Nicole, so there we
Oh,
go.
okay.
And then, what have been some of the struggles for you as a business owner, whether it's maybe with hiring people to come on board with you, finding a location, maybe looking for clients or marketing? Talk to me about what some challenges have been for you.
Sure. Yeah. So I think challenges in real estate as a business, apart from others, is always finding clients, right? Is and how you're getting your clients, and there are a lot of ways to go about that. Some of them are quite expensive, paying for leads through Zillow, things like that. I mean that can get expensive. So I think in real estate the number one challenge is finding clients, is having a robust pipeline of clients.
Yeah.
But other challenges, building a team is challenging, and just in the sense of, I think, finding the right people that you're going to really thrive with, that are going to thrive with you.
Yeah.
That's that's certainly what I focus on. You can make maybe some bad choices, and then
But you learn from them, right?
and you learn from them. Exactly right. But yeah, I've got good people, so I've been lucky there. Other challenges, in real estate, it's the market. Like right now, what we're talking about is, I was just listening to BAM, which is Broke Agent Media. I don't know if you're familiar with
have
this,
not.
but they do a daily sort of roundup on the market, which is very national based. It's not local, and really you want to know your local information, because it's very different from Leesburg to Arlington, Texas, Arlington, Virginia, Arlington, ooh. It's really different everywhere, but in general, is kind of concerning news how, the Fannie Mae's just updated their forecast for 2025.
How's it looking?
It's looking worse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
A couple months ago they came out, the NAR, Fannie Mae, everybody came out with the rates being in the 5s. They're going to get better, and then Fannie just updated it. No, they think the rates are going to stay in the 6s all of 2025. We're not going to get as much inventory on the market. Dang. We're not going to get as much activity. It's probably going to be a good market for buyers that are looking for new construction, for builders. It'll be a decent market, but yeah.
Thanks for sharing that insight. I think they're just kidding.
For the rest of us, yeah.
No, it's good
existing homes.
It's good to know. You don't want to stay in the dark for that, which leads me to my next question. Besides podcasts, what else are you using as resources to stay up to date on the latest trends, changes, all that good stuff in your industry?
I listen to Broke Agent Media. They do one called Knowledge Broker, which is really good. Sometimes Keeping Current Matters is a good one.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to them anymore. I did, but the only reason I don't anymore is just because they tend to have just a national perspective as well. And when you're, when I'm advising clients, I need to focus on the local and the hyper local. And so that's more just digging into my MLS data and pulling out the information I need. Smart Charge can help with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then what do you think, in your opinion, are some character traits that buyers, sellers, clients should be looking out for when choosing a real estate agent, in your opinion?
In my opinion.
Yes.
Tall, short hair.
Blonde.
No, I'm just kidding. Blonde.
Okay, I see where we're getting with this.
Exactly. No, just kidding.
She's not, but it's okay.
Yeah. I think it's hard for a lot of consumers to understand what agents do for them. So that's kind of, where a lot of people are in the dark. So they don't really quite know what to look for. So sometimes, they're just looking for, the easiest one to find, and so there are a lot of busy agents that aren't necessarily great agents, but they're really good at just kind of being in front of people and letting everybody know they're an agent, and they, it's kind of low-hanging fruit type thing.
Yes.
But if I were, a consumer that was really going to do my homework, I would look at the experience of the agent. Do they work in my local market? That's not always a winning indicator, but because I work in multiple markets, and and if you know how to do your research, I've sold houses on the Chesapeake Bay. I don't sell a lot there, but you do the research, you understand the local market. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, honesty, integrity, these are really key. Because I hate to say it, but there are a lot of people in every industry that are big talkers, but they might not quite be able to perform on the back end of that. So,
and you should say it.
So yeah, I think referrals, references are good. I do a lot of work through referral, and those are my best clients as well. It's like the ones that are coming to me from a trusted,
space,
customer or friend. And so I think finding an agent in the same way, is like, talk to people and their experience. What agent have they used that they were really pleased with?
Yeah.
From beginning to end. It's stressful. Can be very stressful buying or selling a house.
Absolutely, yeah. And I
You
feel like
kind of need a trusted, support system.
someone
Your
who's
agent.
got your back,
Yeah, exactly.
help you ease into the process and knows what they're doing, because I sure as heck don't. So
Right.
thank you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as a person and with your business? Have you given that some thought?
Yeah. 5 years. Hopefully. Close to more than 5 years. I'm hoping to retire 2032, but
2032,
so
okay.
5 years isn't quite there. So I think probably 5 years. I'm looking at larger team. Yeah, maybe kind of bringing in some people to pass more business off to.
Okay.
Assuming things get better and not worse.
Yes. Have you given thought to your exit strategy? I feel like when I talk to coaches or financial advisors, all that stuff, they're always like, you got to plan for your exit strategy. So have you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm actually with Real Broker, and not to pitch my brokerage, but
Pitch it, girl, pitch it.
but Real Broker actually is creating exit strategies for agents. So via equity sharing, profit sharing, stock purchases and stock grants and things like that. So you can actually, if you're with Real Broker, this brokerage, you can leave real estate and continue to have that passive income. So
yeah.
So that's certainly part of my exit strategy, is like leveraging everything that they're making available to me.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great. And then let's see, how do you build and maintain relationships with clients and other professionals in the real estate industry?
Yeah. I think it's just about kind of talking to people, really. It's
Having that connection?
Yeah, you connect with people and then you keep the connection. I think that, I don't know, I saw some statistic that was about sort of the frequency of connecting is more important than so having like a light sort of connection, like just a check-in sort of, hey, how you doing? I'm thinking of you, it can be more effective than a less frequent but deeper conversation. I mean, I think you still need the deep conversations,
yes.
But
as opposed to long periods of like, oh, hey, by the way,
nothing.
Just those
and
little
now
ones.
I can't figure out what to say to you because I haven't talked to you in 6 months,
right?
Right?
Or it's just like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Right? People are just like, what do they need? They never talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? So that you kind of don't want to get to that point.
Right.
I always try to do that. I'm always like, let me message this person because I don't want them to think one day like, because I don't text this much, I don't want them to think like, what do you need or something? So I'm always like sending like, hey, hope you're well. Just want to let you know I miss you. Just little things like that. I try to do that.
That's super key.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah,
there
it makes people feel good, and it just lets them know, like, we don't need to talk, but if you want to talk to me, or
I'm
you
here.
need something, I'm here.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
So I think that's good. The people that like with title agencies and lenders that I'm networked with, like that's kind of how we stay in touch. Like in a time like this where real estate's slowed down quite a bit, and you're not seeing your title company every couple of weeks for a closing or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Love it. And then what are the most common mistakes sellers make when trying to sell their homes, and how have you helped them avoid those mistakes, or your team?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking about like a for sale by owner mistake, I mean, that's just a mistake, I mean, sellers and buyers do this too, where they really just focus too much on the bottom line number.
Yes.
It's like you've got a lot of points of negotiation that are going to affect that net number. And so if you're not starting off right and then hitting every one of those milestones right, your bottom line number's not going to be very good, right? So with home sellers, for sale by owner is, just statistically, there are statistics that show that, they're leaving about 14% on the table, which is a lot of money. So, so you gotta help them get past that. Yes, staging might cost you $4,000 or $5,000, but you're going to get way more than that from it.
Yeah.
Right. So, so it's a little bit of an upfront. There are a lot of companies now that will help home sellers, for example, do upfront stuff that can be a little bit costly. And then they'll take payment at the settlement table. So like you can do that with staging, you can do that with home improvement, repairs you need to do. But the big mistakes are thinking your house is worth more than it is and that it's going to sell itself, because it just won't, Yeah. I mean, I made that mistake. My first house that I sold before I was a real estate agent, it was like, oh, this is worth this much because look at it. It's beautiful and I love it. It's worth a lot to me, right?
Yeah.
But you really got to, take off the rosy glasses and look at it objectively. And like Barbara Corcoran has a great quote. I don't remember exactly, but she says something like, the first 8 seconds is when the buyer makes big idea, big impressions from the home. They get big impressions. And so you want to kind of, put on your objective glasses and walk your house and like from the street in, like, what does it look like from the curb? What does it feel like when you open the door? What does it smell like when you walk in? Like, these kind of, almost subconscious, senses and feelings that people get are really important.
So true.
So, so you want to look at all that really objectively and, and get it ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Little things that aren't fixed are a big deal that home sellers are like, oh, it's just a shaky doorknob. Who cares? I'm like, because the shaky doorknob brings up all kinds of bigger questions.
It's like,
about
what else is here?
What else is wrong
creaking?
that I can't see, right?
Yeah.
If they don't even care about the shaky doorknob.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Yeah. First impressions are everything.
Totally.
So it's often forgotten, but
totally.
should not. I love that point that you made. And then what do you like to do in your free time? Like when you're not thinking of like real estate, being a girl boss at your brokerage, what do you like to do to unwind?
Oh, Lordy. Okay. So I have a farm in Southern Maryland now. I actually lived in Leesburg for a while. And I've got family in Lovettsville. So, right where we are right here in the studio is also local to me. But like my happy moments of the day are like in the morning, I've got 2 little mini pigs and 13 chickens.
In my head, why did I say pigs? And then you said mini pigs. I was like, but she's got pigs.
Yeah, they live in the barn when I go out to feed them in the morning and when I put them to bed at night,
You put them to bed. I just picture them in like a little bed with a blanket. Like, it's okay, my darlings, go to sleep.
Big pile of hay. They have like a hay igloo. Yeah. Especially as it gets cold. But I mean, that's my thing. I mean, I'm a city girl, but this is my thing.
Yeah.
I love my animals. Yeah.
Well, what else you got besides the piggies?
And a dog.
A dog. Okay.
Chickens,
nice.
Pigs, and a dog.
Love it.
So that I play a lot of tennis.
Okay.
Yeah. Like to travel. My wife is Venezuelan. I can't go there right now because
is this like turmoil going on there?
Yeah, it's not. She went back and it was pretty tricky even for her as a Venezuelan.
Yeah.
But I mean, American, I might get kidnapped or something.
Yeah, let's not do that.
You don't want to stand out, you look like you have
tall, blue eyes, blonde hair. Got it.
So, but we like to travel, go to Spain.
Very nice. Places. That's wonderful. I love that you guys love to travel, like see the world, get out there.
Oh yeah.
Leave the 2 piglets behind for a little bit, then come back.
Right. It gets a little tricky.
Right.
Yeah. We have tenants on the farm, so usually we get them to feed the animals.
Take care of them. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
All
good.
right. Is there anything maybe that I have not touched on that you want to share, maybe about life, yourself, the real estate industry, piggies, anything at all?
Okay. I'm going to share something about pigs.
Ooh.
Which I learned because, it's a cute story. I, have these pigs because we went to the Amish farm animal auction, which is in itself like a total hoop because you've got, an auction going on with all sorts of animals. And then you've got like an Amish guy in a big hat, like doing the auction voice. I mean, it is kind of hysterical.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there are these 2 little baby pigs. And so baby pigs, when they're mini pigs, are I mean, they were like 3 pounds. Maybe they're really, really tiny and cute. And
So cute.
there were 2 of them in one of these have-a-heart traps where you catch, it's like a skinny trap that you catch a groundhog in.
Oh,
like,
yeah. And then it closes.
it's
when
not
they
very big, right?
Yeah.
There were 2 of them in that, and that was sort of their traveling crate from
Yeah.
the farmer
Oh, my
brought.
goodness.
And anyway, so Gabby, who in Venezuela, she's an agricultural engineer, and she worked for basically the Venezuelan Department of Agriculture there. So she had a lot of experience with farms and auctions and various things. She's like, pretty sure that some of the people buying these animals are going to eat them. I was like, oh my God, that's awful. So I had to have these pigs.
Not 1, 2. 2, y'all.
Brother and sister. They were so tiny,
Aww.
you know.
Are they so big now and so different?
They're like 100 pounds each now. So they're not big, no.
Okay.
You know, because a real big pig, like a hog, could be 800 pounds or so, like a small car.
That's so cute. You saved them. You gave them a second chance
I did,
on the farm.
And then I found out that they might live for like 22 years. So I was like,
you ready for that?
Holy cow.
you ready for that? Just kidding.
Well, I don't know. I'm like, if we retire to Spain, we're going to have to bring the pigs.
Yes. You can't leave them behind. No, they went through all that. You've got to take them with you.
Oh, I know. They know how to sit, though. They're super smart.
Yeah, that's what I hear about
super
piggies.
Smart,
that they're so smart. What are their names?
Erwin and Georgina.
Erwin and Georgina.
Brother and sister. Georgina's smarter, but also a little bit more temperamental, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Erwin, ever since we got him fixed, is like Mr. Mellow. Like just so easygoing, so cute. But I taught them to sit. Georgina, like that, picked it up so quick. And she still sits, like whenever there's like food anywhere nearby. She's like, I'm going to sit and increase my chances of getting a treat. And she does.
What a smarty.
I know. So she sits and she's looking at me like,
just like, come on.
I'm sitting.
I can't sit here any longer. Give me my treat. That is so awesome. No,
yeah,
I love
pretty
that.
funny.
No, thank you for sharing that. This is what when I ask people this is really what I want to hear, but they always go back into like the nitty-gritty.
Oh, they're boring business stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just like, tell me something crazy or fun about you. So thank you for taking us there with the piggies. Sure. I really enjoyed that story. Yeah, it's great. All right. So for my final question, if you could leave us with a quote or a saying that maybe has inspired you, or maybe something that someone told you that has stuck with you, and just
oh my goodness. Okay, so here we go. So Real Broker, now I'm going to go further than this, but Real Broker just recently published something like, we have a motto that's like, work hard, be kind. And then another one that's, we is bigger than me. Right?
Yeah.
And then I just, I don't know if you've seen When We Were Kings, the documentary on the Ali Frazier fight in Africa in the 70s. It's like, civil rights, a whole lot of things in this athletic event, this boxing match, right? And Ali won, of course. Nobody expected him to win. But in the end of the documentary, they're talking about sort of where Ali went from there and his journey through life. And he was doing the commencement speech at Harvard. And they asked him to, and, he's such an incredible, like, talker,
character,
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man can elocute, right? So the graduates asked him for a poem, apparently, at the end of the speech, and he stopped and he waited, and then he said, "We, me," and that was his poem. It was 2 words.
We, me. I love that. I would have been, if you had not told me that, I'd be like, what the hell does that mean?
So it's just kind of brilliant, but it all this just in the last 2 weeks, this we, me stuff everywhere around me. I'm like, this is really interesting.
It goes back to his speech that he gave, his
we,
small poem,
me. Yeah.
So you just randomly go up to people and be like, we, me. And they're just like, ma'am.
You're weird.
You're weird, but we like you. So, we'd like to work with you. We, me. I love it.
Yeah, but that's... I don't know. Ali was brilliant, and that's possibly the shortest poem on record, right? Just 2 words.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you go to Guinness Books, the shortest poem might be 4 words, but they haven't added Ali's poem yet.
We'll have to file a complaint to them and be like, excuse me. Just kidding.
Exactly.
And then I have one more question that just popped up. Why did you end up going to the Amish farm or auction? Like, what brought you there?
Oh, that's good fun in the country. There's not a lot to do.
Yeah. You're just like, just go there. Let's see what we find.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was kind of curiosity. We'd gone once before, and, I was more kind of thinking baby goats, but we weren't necessarily going to come home with animals, right? But yeah, it was just kind of like, there are a couple times a month, and hey, we're not doing anything this afternoon. Let's go to the auction and see what's. Needless to say, we haven't been back since because it's just too dangerous.
It is.
Who knows
You're gonna end
what
up
we're
with
gonna
like
come home with
2
llama.
horses, a llama. Oh gosh, no. Let's keep you out of there for now. But we do appreciate the work that you did by taking those 2 piggies. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and we should do this again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.